I thought it befitting that I name the title of my talk in Xhosa, which would make me appear, as a somewhat sophisticated and tribal Xhosa man, not Zulu. Let me assure you on set that I'm neither sophisticated nor tribalist. I'm just an engineer. I also thought of writing my bio in Xhosa, but realized that Thulani's Xhosa might be a bit rusted, and also the fact that I'll be addressing a white audience. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for affording me the opportunity, which is a rare opportunity, to contribute towards positive nation building. Good evening to you, all of you, and all protocol is observed. When I got the call from Thulani, little did I know it was of this particular nature. I've known Thulani since our university days as the controversial SRC president who, like myself, ran under the banner of the ANC Youth League, Mpeki's ANC Youth League. A man who defied the rules and failed to observe protocol. I think that is one of the main reasons that I took interest in him, as he was an individual who dared to challenge somewhat non-progressive norms of an organization. I accepted the invitation, and an hour or so later, as the dust settled in, the words that ran across my mind were, what have I gotten myself into? I thought about calling him back to council. However, I thought that this was an opportunity to have an open dialogue we so desperately need as a nation about a cancer that is slowly but surely eroding our society, racism. I was born in Johannesburg in 1983 during the apartheid days. I don't really remember much of my early years. However, I do remember certain important events, such as Kotesa 1 and Kotesa 2, which I thought were dances. The release of the greatest man to have walked this earth in my lifetime, Tatu Talipunga, Rolihlahla Yem Yem Madiba Nelson Mandela. The assassination of Chris Hani, the mass IFP massacres of innocent people in Thokoza Khumalo Street and Buipatong, and of course the historical event that I will never forget in my life, the 1994 democratic election. An event, as I was told by my grandfather, which meant a fresh beginning for our people. I never really understood the concept of our people at that stage of my life. I moved from a township school to a prestigious multiracial school when I was in standard 2, what is now by norm referred to as grade 4, having been taken a class back due to my poor grasp of English. There were very peculiar features about the school which were foreign to me, as the following. The school had a security access point system, a factor which caused my father to remember the following words that I will never forget. At least here, my child will be safe from all the township madness. The school had white people who I'd only seen on TV. I had never seen so many white people in my life. It had a swimming pool, which I'd also never seen in my life. There were sports grounds with grass turf on them, which was quite bizarre to me, as our school grounds were on the desert side of things. They made these new school grounds seem like an oasis. The school had a library with lots and lots of books, a music facility with musical instruments, an indoor assembly hall, computers, and so forth. But most important of all, the school had a functional system characterized by a present and active principal, teachers that could patiently teach without frustratingly beating up a child, teachers who could speak proper and fluent English and Afrikaans, and parents who were actively involved in their children's education. It was at this point in time I noticed a stark contrast between township poverty and suburban privilege. The moment I set foot on my new school, I knew I was entering a world of privilege. The Oxford Dictionary defines privilege as a special right, advantage, or immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group. As young as I was, as a young man, I was harshly awakened to the reality that privilege was racial in nature in South Africa. White people, as it were privileged by nature, and black people were poor by nature. My definition, of course, of privilege evolved through the years. I will shy away from the sensitive topic of privilege, as it is a discussion for another day. At this point in my life, I was a happy child. My hard-working parents were progressing in their respective careers, my dad as a salesman and my mom as a nurse. To me, everyone on earth was a unique individual. I did not see the world through black and white lenses. I was taught by my teachers that we belong to one race, the human race. The first time I was exposed to racism was when I moved from JP High School for boys to Alberton High School. It was at this juncture that I was made aware of the fact that I was black and white people were white by a very racist principal who did a brilliant job in sowing divisions among school children based on racial grounds. Unfortunately, the teachers were no different from their headmaster. It was in matric that we as the matriculants changed the norm. We collectively challenged the structural racism that existed in the school and ended up being the most defiant and racially unified matric group in the school's history. When I moved to Cape Town to pursue my university degree at UCT, I didn't see many surprises, as I had already been exposed to racism, or to the racist realm of South Africa. I won't dwell much on my university due to time, but it was in Cape Town that I was schooled that there is a difference between a colored person and a black person. I mean, for the greater part of my high school years, most of my friends were colored. Cape Town brought a new twist to the term colored. However, the freedom of thinking, self-interrogation, exposure to local and international people and cultures in a university context helped me understand that not all people are racist and not all societies are racist. I started my working career for an international explosives manufacturing company, which was a deja vu moment for me due to the fact that the company boss mimicked the very good old Alberton High School principal. Though he was nice in appearance, his actions were contrary. It was obvious to me to see the advantages that white people had in the company over their black counterparts. It was ridiculous. The white guys progressed quicker career-wise in the organization compared to their black counterparts. The white guys were given better and more significant projects compared to their black peers. It was a norm to hold meetings in Afrikaans with little to no regard for non-Afrikaans speaking employees who were predominantly black. The list goes on and on. I will just cut through all the fluff. I'll get to the conclusion since I'm running out of time. With all that I've experienced in my life, I can make the deduction that our country is currently sick. It is plagued with racism, a cancer that South Africa cannot afford to harbor anymore. A cancer that has torn this country apart and has turned its children into vessels of hatred. But fortunately for us, there is a cure for this type of cancer. A unified us is the cure to the sickness. Each and every one of us has a capacity to influence change for the better. It begins with changing ourselves, the way we choose to look at each other, the way we choose to treat each other, the way we choose to stand up against what is wrong in our most private and hidden comfort zones. I'm almost done. It is up to us to challenge the stereotypes which are both dangerous and non-progressive. Like Tulani, it's up to us to not observe toxic protocol. A great man in the self of Nelson Mandela once put it swiftly: no one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or background, or religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite, hate. Dr. Martin Luther King once said, love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. The Dilalema is quoted as saying, the planet does not need more successful people. The planet desperately needs more peacemakers, healers, restorers, storytellers, and lovers of all kind. He goes on to say, love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without humanity, without them, humanity cannot survive. I will end off with a famous Stephen Bantu Biko quote, which reads as follows: in time, we shall be in a position to bestow on South Africa the greatest possible gift, a more human face. Thank you.